Jeez.
Let's hope we are live, because it keeps asking me to pick the right stream, but then it also says that we're live.
Just don't cross them.
That would be bad. Might create a hole in the space-time continuum.
I see you're almost ready, almost live screen.
Boom! And we're live. What's on that mug, Lewis? Is that like a creepy Halloween hand or something?
This is your favorite one.
Dude, you got to get like a Christmas mug or something. What are you doing?
Where am I going to put a Christmas mug?
What do you mean? Where are you going to put it? On your desk, full of coffee? Something festive? Maybe a Grinch mug? Oh man,
humbug.
I've been seeing Grinch stuff everywhere this year. I don't know.
Grinch is great.
I mean, everyone loves the Grinch, but I feel like particularly this year, Grinch stuff absolutely everywhere. Everywhere I go, I've been seeing Grinch mugs, Grinch coffee cups, Grinch water bottles. I mean, just Grinch all over the place.
That implies, or not even to imply, I mean, that indicates you've left your house.
Mm-hmm.
Gone to a market of some sort.
I do leave my house at least once every couple of weeks, Lewis, unlike you, who haven't been out since the pandemic. You're like in your own episode of Silo. How many stories do you have in that house? You have a basement that you go sleep in?
Yeah, we went down there for the tornado warning.
I genuinely wonder which one out of the three of us has left the house the least in 2024.
I'm going to guess it's you, dude, because you got nowhere to go.
I mean, I guess it depends on whether you consider like leaving the bounds of the walls or like leaving the property lines.
I would say leaving
I
your
let my
property.
dogs out like multiple times a day.
Okay, that doesn't count. You got to actually be leaving your property.
Taking the trash out doesn't count.
No.
Well, I mean, I'm only one person. I only need to take the trash out like once every 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah. And even if you wanted to go somewhere, like, is that even a possibility for you? Like, is there anywhere for you to go?
I mean, the thing is, when I do need to leave and drive, I need to drive very far. So I actually have a lot of miles put on my car this year because like the few times that I do need to leave, I need to drive like 40-minute round trip to the store or like hour there and back to like the nearest other human that I know.
You that's only further affirmation that I was correct. You don't ever go anywhere. I'm surprised you don't have like a big Ted Kaczynski beard.
He's been working on growing one.
I don't like any facial hair.
He hasn't shaved in like 2 years. He's working on it.
I leave the house.
Growing facial hair yet.
I leave the house 2-3 times a week just to play darts alone. And then there's the inevitable grocery store trips. So I refuse to pay someone to do my grocery shopping.
Oh, dude. I really don't get this whole I'm going to pay someone to go do regular everyday human stuff for me and bring it to me. Like the Uber Eats and the DoorDashes and the TaskRabbits and stuff. I'm like, how hard is it to go get your own takeout? Not to mention, if you use Uber Eats or TaskRabbit, I think they raise the prices of those menu items, and then they also charge you a delivery fee. So it's like super expensive to do it.
Now, what I do like is like the store's own, like, just pick up the groceries in the parking lot. That's fantastic. I tried doing grocery delivery one time. It was really expensive. I didn't like it. And you have to like, tip somebody. It was like, you should always tip somebody, but it is an extra like 20% cost on the top of it. But doing like the parking lot pickup, like somebody just brings the stuff to your car, that's fantastic. I do that.
You still got some moron trying to, which steak am I going to give him? Oh, I'll just give him this crappy one. Which head of lettuce? How about this one that has a bunch of bugs and, I don't like that.
I don't either. I'm like a freaking jeweler inspecting a diamond when I look at my steak, man. I got a freaking monocle on, and I'm looking at that thing up in the lights. I got like a magnifying glass on it. Like I'm gonna get the veiniest one you've got. That thing's gonna have. It's practically gonna be Wagyu.
Veiny.
Yeah, like just like the fat veins going down it.
I believe it's called marbling.
Well,
I don't think you want to use the word vein.
Hey, look.
Ideally, you don't see a lot of veins in your steak.
Well, when you got your monocle on and you're expecting it up close, Lewis, there's things that you see that the normal eye doesn't. But that's neither here nor there. I think we should probably get this thing going. We got Intuit Tom. Oh, right. Clever guy. Real clever guy in the chat. Can we get the mod in here? He says 2 CultCast off topics in 1 week. Yeah, that's right. Okay, we get it. We're off topic.
Did you release one?
Yeah, I released one. After I fixed your missing audio, I got it released.
Oh.
Yeah, it went
You know,
out
that was
today.
the- that was
last
the-
night.
Oh.
Yeah,
The other Tuesday.
it was a great one too. I actually listened to it because I was trying to figure out how to fix your audio, and it was our accidental cooking podcast, TM, trademark, 2024.
ACP. That's a completely open acronym, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Hey, look, good artists borrow, great artists steal, right? We can repurpose that for our accidental cooking podcast. And dude, it was a great episode. One of the best we've ever done, to be honest with you.
This year we have a pretty good internet program here, don't we?
All right, look, everyone's fleeing. All the listeners are going away.
It's because there's no tweet. They,
Oh, once again, Lewis makes a great point. Let me get this tweet going out, and we'll get this thing rolling. Oh man, I could hear the reverberation out of my guitar holes behind me. I just cracked one of them. All right, got the tweet tweeted, Lewis. The tweet has been tweeted. I think we should go ahead and get this party started. What do you say? Because I got to be walking these sweet buns out the door in like 45 minutes. Here we go. Oh, Mrs. D. Mrs. D. Oh, my dear, I do love a good party. I had a special sensual party with El Katie last night. I don't want to know what those party favors were. Mrs. D, no one wants to hear any more about that. If you don't mind, we got a whole lot of show to do and not a lot of time to do it. So I'll get the music going in 3, 2. Hello, and welcome to the CultCast, the best 30-plus minute Apple conversation you can hear all week long. I'm your host, Careful Lash. Join me today. Every year he dresses like Santa with a big gift bag, and he heads to the writer's cage, hands out gifts like new socks, clean wipes, MREs, and other goods the writers typically go without for the remainder of the year. He's a managing editor, Hold Mac. Lewis Wallace is here.
So great to be back. So great.
I agree. Also with us, when he goes to the mall, children often confuse him for one of Santa's elves. Probably doesn't help that he wears shoes with pointy curled tips and bells on the end. That's a little weird fetish. He's a writer for CultCloth. Griffin Jones is here.
Good evening. I will actually say, in regards to the manner I dress, I have never felt less like a tourist in another country than when I was briefly in the airport in Frankfurt, Germany. I blended right in as an American, which is unusual in Europe.
Oh man, the Germans, say no more. That's like their standard outfit that you got on right there. It's like black shirt, black pants. What else do you need? That's true.
Gray is best color.
I was thinking about Leanne Dieter the other day, and I was like, oh man, it would have been so great to continue doing some kind of show with him, Leanne Dieter and Air France or Herr Franz. I couldn't decide which one was best. But I was like, the nicknames are so good, I think the podcast just writes itself, and we could do the whole thing in German accents, talk about German things. That would actually be a lot of fun. I'll pitch that to him. If only his eyes weren't so squinty and blinky, he could make something like that happen. But all right,
hey,
everyone.
You know what?
Yeah.
He was on Graham and Charlie's podcast. He was doing that this morning. That's why the newsletter's late.
You're kidding.
No.
That,
he
that's
said
just rich.
Only audio.
Of course.
That's his thing. But it's great. We just need to get like a GIF of his face, slowly blinking. And we just put that in there where the thing is, and then he could do audio, and nobody will know the difference. I guess you'd have to make the mouth move up and down a little bit when he talked. Somehow.
Oh, we can get some animation done. Look, we pitched that to him as an option. We told him you could just call in every once in a while. You don't have to you don't have to be here for the whole show. You don't have to show your face. We'll literally just call your phone on Skype. I could call his number directly and pipe it into my mixer. I mean, there's so many options that we have.
We'll revisit that in the new year.
Can you guys still hear me, by the way?
Oh, jeez.
Are you there?
Come
Are you
on
there?
now. What?
I think
What?
we're still live.
Your
I think
TV
we're
is doing something in the background there. You see that?
Oh,
Yeah, lit up.
I see what happened. Yes, thank God. I think someone from inside my house is playing with their iPad, likely one of my kids. And what they did is they accidentally selected my TV behind me as an AirPlay source, which is how I know they're freaking playing with the iPads. Because all of a sudden, all my screens started turning off and on. And I was like, what the heck is going on? And now my TV behind me is on. Let's hope that doesn't... Hold on, wait.
Wonder what's going to start streaming.
Don't... Yeah. It's probably going to be like Blue's Clues or something. Denied.
Instant copyright.
Don't
strike.
worry. Someone's going to be disciplined when I go inside the house. Okay. We got all sorts of show to cover for you all here. Oh, my goodness. We got our first glimpse at the iPhone 17. Is it the Pro? I think. And, dude, yeah, the Pro Max. It looks absolutely terrific, in my opinion. So we'll show that off. And, of course, if you're listening, we'll describe it and we'll include some images. I'm going to guess in the actual podcast images.
And the chapter artwork,
yeah,
yes.
Chapter artwork, fantastic. Also, I'll talk about the first folding iPhone and when it might arrive. Lewis is going to fill us in on this interesting... God, there's no way to make this sound interesting, but I promise you it is. When we were talking about it, I almost cut it, but then Lewis told me what it was, and I was like, oh, that actually does sound interesting. Apple facing pressure to drop the AI news summaries after a false headline. And then we're going to launch into all the best and worst picks of 2024, the picks and the anti-picks. I'm not even sure that Lewis has any real picks. I think they're all just anti-picks. He's slowly morphing into El Caney. There's no picks. There's nothing he wants. It's just all stuff that he hates.
He's enjoyed nothing in the last 365
I know.
days.
He said he doesn't have any picks of things that he likes. I'm like, you have nothing? Not a single thing that you've enjoyed this entire year? All right. Well, before we dive in, I do want to say thank you to Squarespace for supporting this episode. Did I set up the browser mode? Please, God. Please say yes. Thank God I did it. Squarespace.com/CultCast if you're ready to get your life in order. And as Mr. Strickland from Back to the Future said, stop being a slacker. You can head on over to squarespace.com/CultCast. I use Squarespace. Y'all know that. I'm not going to tell you anything here that you don't know. But hopefully this is the episode where I convince you to try it. I started a Squarespace website, I think in 2015 for CultCloth.co. Can you believe it's been that long, Lewis? It's been, God, that's crazy. It's been almost 10 years. That is unbelievable. In April, I think it will be 10 years.
Wow.
And, I mean, Squarespace made it possible for me to get my website up quickly and get it launched and look beautiful on any device that visits. They have like this technology they call Squarespace Blueprint that is a guided system that walks you through these different professionally curated options, and you just choose the one that you like the best. You can tailor it as much as you want. You can launch it as is, and it will be optimized for every device that visits. And then they have all these built-in SEO tools that you don't even know are there. They just work. When you're filling out all your website metadata, that stuff just shows up on Google in all these great ways to make it possible for people to actually find you. I use my Squarespace website primarily to sell products. I have physical products, obviously, although we're thinking about adding some digital imagery, maybe pictures of Lewis Wallace for the 2025 Lewis Wallace dresses and outfits calendar. That's still...
That's going to be a hot seller.
That's going to fly off the digital shelves for sure. I
Powered
hope
by
their
Image
servers are ready.
Playground.
And in any case, when people are going to purchase your wares, they may not want to pay for everything right away. Well, first of all, they can accept, or you can accept, credit cards, PayPal, Apple Pay. And in eligible countries, you have the options of buy now and pay later with Afterpay and ClearPay. It's just a really easy way to get a commerce store set up and start selling anything you want, physical or digital items. And if you're ready to try it out, go to squarespace.com/CultCast for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain with code CultCast at checkout, squarespace.com/CultCast. And my sincere thanks to Squarespace. They've been with us for so long, I don't even know how long it's been. I think they signed on with us like in the first 2 years when we first started podcasting. Because the first 2 or 3 years, I think we made Squat. And then we started making or getting some sponsorships and making some actual money. So, and Squarespace has been the one that's been with us the longest, which is really great. So if you need a website, go check them out. Okay, let's dive right in. I have absolutely no idea who's going first, but I think it might be Griffin. Is it?
Sure.
Oh, it is.
The iPhone 17 Pro Max renders give early glimpse of the next Apple flagship. So over the last few years, really since the iPhone 11 Pro, all the iPhones have had sort of like the same design on the back of the phone with like the 2-tier triple camera bump. It kind of resembles like a stovetop in my opinion. It's not terribly attractive. But this year, the top of the line iPhone models reportedly will feature camera lenses lined up horizontally across the top of the phone's rear. And rather than having like three discrete like round camera bumps, they'll all be grouped together into like a single piece of black glass. It looks very nice in my opinion.
Dude, it looks great. It
Yeah.
it it's like such a beautiful design. I really hope that this is it. I'm so ready for a new design, and now that you've said a stovetop, I can't unsee it. That's it. From here on forth, it will always be what I think of. You know what this design reminds me of? The Pixel. It looks kind of like, if not exactly like a Pixel, doesn't it?
It does. Looks kind of
That's what
similar.
everybody's saying.
This information comes from a supposedly leaked picture of part of the iPhone 17 Pro Max chassis, and the YouTube channel While took
Sure.
this and other leaks to create iPhone 17 Pro Max renders showing what the device could look like. If they prove accurate, 2025 will bring the most significant revamp to the iPhone design in years. As previously reported, Apple might ditch the Pro model's titanium edges for aluminum, which would be both stronger and lighter weight. And shown in the renders is that this aluminum around the edge will sort of wrap around to the top part of the back panel, with the glass being sort of inset in the middle. And this
Dude,
is a
this is so beautiful.
It is nice.
Wow.
a weird thing that I just thought of when I was looking at this is that Apple has been making big strides towards like repairability again, so that you can either remove the front panel or the back panel separately. Like they're both separately screwed into the frame in the middle. I'm not sure how repairable this design would be, because if you open up the rear panel, like because the glass is inset, you would have less access to the parts on the inside. I don't know if you'd be able to fully remove the battery through that like smaller opening or not. So that could be interesting. Hopefully they have a solution there.
Yeah, it's called Apple Care.
True. In the last few days, though, I think this design, parts of this design have been counteracted by other rumors. Shrimp Apple Pro says this won't be the case.
Okay.
Other people have been saying, I think like maybe I want to say Ming Chi Kuo off the top of my head, said that parts of this design are true, except for the fact that the lenses won't be in a continuous line along the top. They'll still be in like clustered in the upper right corner.
Oh,
But how much is true, how much is not? The lenses probably will be like all in one piece rather than the three separate. Maybe not. Who knows? It's exciting. We genuinely don't know what's going to happen, and that's always most exciting because we like being surprised.
yeah. Well, give it a few months. We'll know exactly what we're going to be getting.
That's
but
true. That's true.
sometimes I wonder if we're just settling for too little. It's like, oh, we're getting a linear alignment of the lenses instead of like some actual new and novel feature. But
Well, the thing,
the
if they
aesthetic
were
is
all
a
in
big thing for me. So like I think for me, like if they made no changes to the phone at all, but they made the phone look better, that actually is a big upgrade in my mind. I don't know if I would buy it just for that, but it does make a difference.
a
Sorry, who
downside
did I
to
cut
going
off?
all the way with this design, having them along the top of the phone, is that you then wouldn't be able to hold the phone horizontally and record 3D spatial video for the Vision Pro, a feature that I'm sure everybody uses all the time and is very important to people like you who don't
Well,
have a Vision Pro.
Why wouldn't you be able to do that? If the lenses, if it actually might even horizontally.
Yeah, please explain this to me. I saw you and Leander talking about this.
That's
and
a
my
tr-
head
that-
started
that's-
spinning.
That's
because when you
true.
hold the phone horizontally, like I'm demonstrating on the video now,
Right.
like the 1x lens and the ultra wide lens are side by side when you hold the phone horizontally, and that's how you get the stereoscopic view.
Right.
If the lenses are across the top of the phone, then you would have to hold the phone vertically to get that. And the Vision Pro prefers having horizontal video rather than vertical video.
Vertical bit video should be banned. It shouldn't
Yeah.
even be allowed in America.
Says the TikTok freak.
Who you calling freak?
It has its place. It has its place if you're watching stuff on a vertical screen like a phone. But
Yeah, I guess that's
the Vision
true.
Pro is a horizontal device. It should bring back horizontal
All the
video.
best watching experiences are horizontal, man.
Okay,
These
good.
people that watch movies, even trailers for movies that they want to see on their phones or laptops, are out of their minds. It completely diminishes and minimizes the experience. It's like watching a movie at the movie theater versus watching it on your iPad. it just reduces it to like this flat 2D experience with terrible sound. I don't know why people do that to
another
themselves.
side tangent that is an even smaller nitpick, but you know what really grinds my gears?
Oh, please do tell.
When there's like a streaming TV show, like a TV show specifically designed for the streaming market that's recorded in like a slightly different aspect ratio than 16:9. Like For All Mankind, I think, is shot in 2:1 instead of
Okay.
16:9. So when you watch it, there's like this tiniest little like black bar on the top and bottom. It's like, okay, dude, you know that people are going to be watching this on their television. Nobody has a 16:8 television. Everybody has a 16:9 television. The tiny sliver of black bar on the top is just going to piss me off. It's not going to make me feel any more immersed. It's not going to look any more cinematic than it would if it was just
Maybe
16
not to
by
you.
9. If you're going to go ultra widescreen, do like 2.2:1. Don't do like fucking 16:8. That's just
Whoa!
Hey, Kyle, now you got to edit that part out.
Wow,
Did you take a note?
he's swearing now.
I edit the show. I can
His gears really
I
are
mean,
ground.
I mean, look, I got a censor button here somewhere. You got to let me know, and I'll put it into effect.
He's worked up into a legitimate lather.
I can't find it. I
don't
took
see
it
what
off
the
when
point is.
Elkaney left. Yeah.
what is the point?
Look, man, are you trying to get the show banned on YouTube? There's more than just the editing function. Oh my gosh. I'm surprised that of all the things we've ever discussed, that's the one that got Griffin to lose it. Very passionate.
Well,
Yeah.
Did you show people the not really a mock, like a just kind of a diagram that Shrimp Apple Pro posted saying how it's actually going to look?
I should go to his. Should I go to his Twitter? I mean, Shrimp Apple Pro is actually usually pretty accurate.
I dropped a link in the show notes. You know,
You mean
he
in-
was
you
going
mean
on and on about
in
all the
Slack?
reasons why. Yeah, no, in the show notes, all the reasons why it ain't gonna look like the. I think he might have even said Pixel Pro, Google Pixel phone.
That's weird.
Anyway, I mean the sort of mock-up he made is it's basically like the same triangular design or orientation of the lenses with the sort of a similar like top part that's I guess metallic and the rest is glass. So it's like similar to the one but not like also looks like the current layout. And Griffin, honestly, like as many times as I've thought about this, you holding that up and showing it like the way it looks, I've never looked at the way that those things. It's oh yeah, of course, that's why it's a triangle like that.
All right, I'm reading
Great,
through his.
glad to know it. I actually learned something. I'm excited today.
Yeah, he's saying that there's actually no claim that the cameras are going to be lined vertically like that. There was more, the commentary that people are building off of was more around the shape of the glass underneath the camera lenses. Oh my gosh, we're way too in the weeds. I'm not even sure that people who like Apple like hearing us go this deep. We should just quickly move on and forget this conversation ever happened. But
It
does look
I think
nice.
it's funny you guys like that
love
that
it.
mock-up so much. So many people were like, "Oh, it's terrible. It looks just like a Google Pixel." On and on. It's a lot of that, but
Really, I think it's beautiful.
me, it looks
if
kinda
they
like
had if they had a big line across the top rather than the weird double camera bump, then it wouldn't wobble when you set it down on
Yeah.
a table.
yeah, you know what? That was one of the first things I thought. Is like that would be great. You could set your phone down. It'd still be a nice solid ramp, but it wouldn't be a wobbly ramp.
I just appreciate the uniformity too. It's the fact that the cameras are all on one side of the phone is unbalanced, in my opinion. I feel like I should shave my head and be wearing V-necks. It creates an unharmonious experience.
I think it was because I think one of the reasons I read somewhere, it might have been Shrimp Apple Pro, was like, oh, it's just because there's not enough room for those cameras in the center, because on the other side in the center is where the Face ID sensors and everything are. So
Okay, look.
in the other
Also
cameras.
true.
I'm sorry, we got to move on. I got to be walking these sweet but muscular buns out the door.
Oh my
in
God, it's already
30
1 o'clock.
minutes.
Yeah,
I know.
let's
Sorry.
roll.
My apologies to everyone. We started late today, and I got a hard stop. So we got to move on. I'll tell you a little bit about the first folding iPhone and when it might arrive, according to the Wall Street Journal. Do I have this pulled up? Oh, yeah, I do. Thank goodness. Okay, you want your folding iPhone? I actually saw a folding not a folding iPhone, a folding phone in the wild the other day, and I was like, wow, it's like the first time I've actually seen anyone who has a folding phone, and I wasn't sure how I felt about it. But I'm sure when iPhone makes one, I'll change my tune. In any case, the Wall Street Journal reported Sunday that Apple executives want to launch the first folding iPhone in 2026, although that date could slip to 2027. It supposedly will be a book-style foldable, similar to the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold series, and pack a display bigger than the 6.9-inch iPhone 16 Pro Max. I mean, I certainly would hope so. Isn't that kind of the whole point of the foldable? Apple first considered making a foldable iPhone with an outward folding display, but it seems to have finally settled on a book-style design like other foldables on the market. And then Apple reportedly ran into problems with the hinge and the cover for the screen, delaying the device's developments. What say you, chat? Excited about a folding iPhone? I think I'd be more excited about a folding iPad. But you know what? If it's going to have a huge screen, I'm all for it. If you could pack more screen into the same size device or to a slightly thicker device, I think that is something that appeals to me.
Well, there is another rumor that they are working on a folding iPad, but that'll come out a little later in possibly like 2027 or 2028. And
Yeah.
it would be like an 11-inch iPad sized device that unfolds to be like a 20-inch iPad.
That would be massive. I hope they also have plans on making a foldable MacBook Pro. Da-dunch. Anyway. Bad joke. No one got it anyway, so let's move on quickly. Before we dive into our best of 2024, which is upcoming here shortly, Lewis, do you want to tell us about this Apple News summaries story that I didn't even hear about? So,
Yeah.
But apparently it was big enough that it made some news this week.
Yeah, so our headline is Apple faces pressure to drop AI news summaries after false headline, which is pretty close to accurate. Anyway, International Journalism Organization Reporters Without Borders is calling for Apple to remove its new artificial intelligence-powered news notifications. These are the summaries of them, following a complaint from the BBC over a bogus news summary. Apple Intelligence's notification summary feature generated a misleading BBC News headline last week about a high-profile murder case in the United States, falsely stating that the accused shooter had shot himself. So, you've seen these things if you're running.
Oh man, it's all
iOS
over my
18.2.
phone. Yeah.
They summarize your, notification, all
Oh, wonderful.
complaining and showing absolutely ridiculous summaries, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get a summary from your your camera, like your Nest camera, or somebody says like large group of people gathered outside your house, and people are making jokes about it. They're so ridiculous. But this wasn't very funny. This was a wildly inaccurate summary of news stuff. It said, it summarized like three things from BBC News. It said, Luigi Mangione shoots himself. Completely made up, completely wrong. Semicolon. Syrian mother hopes Assad pays the price. Semicolon.
That seems believable.
South Korea police raid. Oh, shut up, would you? My God. Always there when you don't want her, never there when you need her.
Lewis is on the brink. He's about to lose it.
It's as bad as shooting TV in the wrong aspect ratio.
He's about to disappear into that blurred background. We're going to just see him rage, tipping stuff over, throwing things.
Yeah, so I don't know if you can see it, but it basically says BBC News, and it has those three stories in there, and the top one is just completely wrong.
Wow, that's wild.
And so BBC asked Apple, they complained to Apple about it, and I guess this came out this week. A letter for a statement, basically a campaign from Reporters Without Borders, which is they're called RSF because Reporters Sans Frontières. But their guy Vincent Berthier, can't pronounce it, head of RSF's technology and journalism desk, said AIs are probability machines and facts can't be decided by a roll of the dice. RSF calls on Apple to act responsibly by removing this feature. The automated production of false information attributed to a media outlet is a blow to the outlet's credibility and a danger to the public's right to reliable information on current affairs. I gotta say I agree with him. I mean,
I did too.
Apple needs to figure out how. I mean, it's in beta. Yeah, well, that's not cool.
It's in beta, but it's still shipping to millions of people.
Yeah.
Like the inherent problem to this technology is that AI text generation like always brings stuff back to the middle. Like it produces mid average output. And news, like truly breaking news, is always going to be unusual and novel. Like having a text generation machine that always wants to produce the most predictable thing possible just runs counter to the idea of like a news notification on your iPhone. It's always going to mess something up. Like I think a few weeks ago when there was like that like televised fight between what do you call it? What's his name, like Logan Paul and Mike Tyson. Notifications for that event summarized it as what was it? Mike Tyson beats Logan Paul, and that's like the exact opposite of what actually happened, because
Wow.
the
That
AI
fight was
expected
weird.
Mike Tyson to win, but
Yeah.
he didn't, but like, that didn't stop the AI from just saying he did. Like,
Yeah, and I mean it's funny when it like mischaracterizes you know, some text thread, you know, with a bunch of your friends or something, and you read it. No, isn't that funny? That's not what they actually said. But I mean, they're supposed to be useful, right? It's not supposed to be like a nonsense generator that gives you a chuckle when it's supposed to save you time. And my God, think if you actually acted on these summaries that were incorrect. You know, like it summarizes your text thread like, oh yeah, let's meet at 5 p.m. So you show up at 5 p.m. Like, oh no, actually, if you actually read it as opposed to just looking at the summary, you'd know that we were getting together at noon. I mean, it's if it's completely if it's not if it's slightly unreliable, it's completely useless. It's you know, I don't know. I don't know what I suppose you can go in and turn off these things, these AI summaries of notifications, and maybe that's just what everybody will have
Can
to
you
do
turn it off like on at an app specific
per
level?
app. I
you
don't know
can,
about
you
that.
can, you
You
can
can,
dig
okay.
into the if you go to settings, apps, and tap on a specific app, or like settings, notifications, whatever.
I
Then
mean,
you can
it's
customize AI summaries. But like the defaults matter. Nobody's going to actually do that. I certainly haven't
yeah,
done it, and I've spent more time fiddling with Apple Intelligence than I think anybody should.
that's probably true, including you. And it seems like Apple should hand over the default state to the app developer and say you decide what
Yes.
the default state should be for this, because especially for news. I mean, you have this headline with the BBC's logo next to it, and it's like, this is not a headline that they wrote. It was completely manufactured. And I mean, that seems like a pretty big problem. If you're
Yeah.
creating a headline that they never create. Now, it could go the other way. I mean, there could be a news organization that writes a headline and then Apple Intelligence accidentally makes the headline true. You know what I mean? Like the reverse situation that's going on in media today. So that's also a possibility. It's like, oh, you go to read it, and it's like,
Luigi Mangione gets that headline, and he's like, "Oh, I guess I just have to shoot myself now."
yeah. So that is interesting. I actually have grown to like the summaries for messages and maybe even for Twitter, and it never even crossed my mind that maybe the summarized nature of the text is inaccurate. But the thing with AI is its ability to hallucinate, which I think still happens all the time. I don't believe that's a problem that they've dialed out. And by hallucinate, I mean there are occasions where AI just literally makes something up that is not based in reality at all, and you would never know. And there's disclaimers all over the place from people who provide you AI that say, generated by AI, like check for accuracy. But no one ever does that. They just see what they see and they believe what is presented to them. And so I guess the old adage is true, Lewis. Don't believe everything that you read.
Yeah, because Apple Intelligence has gone full Siri.
Oh,
God, I said it again. Here we go again.
All right, I think that's all the stories we have for this week. I mean, we could dive into more. There's a bunch of snoozers in there, but we were like, yeah, let's save some time for our best of the year and worst. Before we do that, speaking of the best, mama, I would like to invite you all to check out CultCloth.co, CultCloth.co. Still the best way to keep your gadgets, lenses, cameras sparkling clean. Oh man, especially your cameras, like the little dials that you have on top, right? And all like the grime and muck and skin cells fall between the body of the camera and the dials, and like there's no way to get it out. There is now, my friends. CultCloth.co works beautifully. We'll go in there and pull all the grime out, all your cracks, sparkling clean cracks in every aspect of your life. Please stop sending me pictures. I don't need to see them anymore.
Oh, jeez.
I've reported them to the authorities, so You don't want to get a knock on your door and have the authorities visit you. So please stop. And if you're ready to keep your cracks clean, if you're ready to have your iPhone or your glasses, your Apple Watch particularly, my Apple Watch Ultra, it gets dirty all the time. I don't know if the oleophobic coating is worn off, but it's constantly covered with fingerprints. I don't know if it's just because I touch it so much. So I'm swabbing the deck on my Apple Watch Ultra like 2-3 times a day. And the fibers of the CultCloth, those specialized broken down fibers which drastically increase the surface area and the cleaning power, reach down into those little crevices on your digital crown. Nothing else does that and cleans those out. I mean, like I said, there's just nothing like it. And if you get yourself an order $20 plus, use code CultCast at checkout, you'll get an extra free carry cloth with your order. These are our new versions, which are even better than our last ones, which were already better than anything else anyone was selling. So we're only competing with ourselves out here, at this point. CultCloth.co, CultCloth.co. We've sold thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of these. Thank you to everyone who's purchased them. My apologies. Some of your orders have recently shipped late because of a plugin disconnect we had. We got it all fixed. If your order is late, you're not sure where it is, you can always email me personally, erifon@cultcast.com. I will make sure that you get your order, or I'll help you figure out where your order is. We'll make sure you get taken care of. erifon@cultcast.com. All right. Should we move into our picks and anti-picks for 2024?
Sounds good. Do you want to kick it off?
Surely. You know what? I'll kick it off with an anti-pick.
Ooh.
I was thinking about this since we talked about it 20 minutes ago. And I was like, do I have any anti-picks, something that I would like to pick? And I was like, actually, there are several that jump out to me. And one is right here in front of me. You know what it is? Can anyone guess? Take a guess, Griffin. What do you think might be my anti-pick for the year?
If it's something right in front of you, you're at your desk. I'm guessing it's the Windows PC that you use on a regular basis.
The Cult Commander, how dare you? If the Cult Commander had hands, I'd have it come slap you. You know
Windows
what it
11?
is? Actually, I kind of like Windows 11.
Oh. Okay.
It is this right here. What am I pointing to?
Oh,
The completely
camera
pointless,
control.
totally useless camera button on my new
Oh,
iPhone.
it's not a button. It's not a button.
It does depress, or it makes the sensation
Makes
of
you
depression. That is also true. Touche. I have found the button to be almost completely useless. I should probably remap it. It doesn't live up to the hype. It's not practical. It's not useful. It's a worse way of controlling an absolutely brilliant camera control UI and UX that's on your iPhone underneath your thumb at all times, which makes it way easier to control the phone. I would venture to say it's a gimmick and doesn't actually improve the iPhone in any way. Actually, I take that back. It does. It forced camera case makers to put an indentation, at least on my case, in the area of the phone where the button lives, which actually makes it easier to hold. So there is that. That's a win. Outside of that, it does absolutely nothing that I find. Maybe I'm not taking enough photos and videos, but I do find it useful, like when you click it, that it launches the camera. I think that's nice. But rolling your finger across this button to like activate any kind of controls is so janky and just doesn't work reliably and is not smooth that it makes me not want to use it ever. Occasionally I will use the button to take a photo just when I'm, holding the camera vertically to take a picture of people. So I use it that way. But other than that, not really a great feature in my mind. Maybe there are people out there. Am I wrong, chat? Let me know. But so far,
The best thing
not
it's
loving
done for
it.
me is that I was able to take the camera icon off of my home screen and get a space back. But I'm with you. I don't use the swiping gesture. I find that kind of annoying, and it's just too small of a surface to swipe on.
That's
But
exactly
I use
right.
it to open the camera constantly. Like it's now the fastest way to do it.
That's
Like,
true.
sometimes the swipe to the left on the lock screen is fiddly. Sometimes like tapping and holding on the camera button on the lower right corner is a little fiddly, but just clicking it to open the camera is fantastic. But it doesn't need to do anything other than that, really.
Yeah, so it's essentially a second, action button, which
In fact, my tip is that if you go into settings, camera control, you can turn off the swipe entirely, and you will no longer swipe accidentally, which is what I do.
I haven't gotten it to accidentally swipe, but it also could be because, of my case. And that's the other thing. Like, I kind of wonder if you had a case that had a better design for the actual camera button, if maybe your ability to control it would be easier. But I don't know, man. There's just something about that button where it seems to not always recognize your touches. And then there's like that little tiny menu bar that like lives right above the button that you're supposed to like swipe down on and like scroll through. It's like, first of all, you could barely see it. You have to have like 15-20 vision to actually be able to see what your options are. And you have to have like the hands of a surgeon to actually select the thing that you want. And if your fingers are of any masculine size, forget about that. Unless you have like little rat paws or little tiny Alex E. Heath hands, maybe he probably loves the button. But outside of that, I don't know, man. Okay, so Dipsy Do from the chat, I go caseless and it still sucks. Yeah, I feel like there is a lag between when it recognizes that you're trying to do something and when that something actually happens. So it just misses your intention a lot of times, which the screen doesn't really ever do. So it just seems like a worse way of controlling the camera than the brilliant software methods that Apple has already provided to us over the years. So I don't know, man. That's my pick. My anti-pick, I should say.
Quick real-time follow-up. The setting is in Settings, Accessibility, Camera Control, and then you can disable the swipe.
Okay. I know what I'm doing after the show. Lewis.
Yep.
Do you have a pick or an anti-pick?
I don't know. We're running out of time, huh? So I'm going to go quick and easy with a pick. And, here's what they AirPods Pro 2. You know why I'm using this as a pick for this year? Because they made them even better.
Yeah,
they made them even better with the hearing stuff. And, I don't use them as hearing aids, but I've read plenty of kind of actually moving things, people talking about using these as hearing aids. And I can't wait to try using them as like hearing protection when I go to a concert or if I ever have a band that rehearses ever again. I haven't done anything. I haven't been in a situation to use these hearing health things, but I've read convincing reports that using the AirPods Pro 2 as hearing aids is awesome. And they did that strictly with a software update this year. It's not a new product, but they basically made it a brand new product this year. So, and honestly, I was talking about this the other day. We were fiddling with the website and putting like a buying box on there, and we're looking at it and like, one of the things you do in these buying boxes, you put in pros and cons. Okay, pro this, pro this, pro this, and the con was like fiddly, easy to stick in the wrong ear. And I said, who the hell wrote this? I said, this sounds completely. It says your fingerprints all over it, Leander. And he's like, yeah, guilty as charged.
If you're Rudy Giuliani.
Yeah, I said, first off, fiddly, okay. I mean, that's a giveaway that it's you that wrote this. But do you actually stick them in the wrong ear hole? I mean, how short is your attention span? You pluck it out of the case, and it's in your left hand, and it just naturally goes to your left ear. I mean, but I quickly surmise what he does is he leaves them sit around outside of the case, which who does that either, right?
That's completely an El Caney thing to do.
And we were talking about it. I said, honestly, I can't think of a single thing that's bad about it. The only thing that ever happens with these that is kind of weird is once in a while when I'm connected to my Apple TV, I'll get like a weird robotic, some kind of like Bluetooth weirdness with the audio. But that doesn't happen very often. When it does, it's completely surprising because they're so bulletproof otherwise. So anyway, it's still I love the iPhone, but if you think about it, 10 years ago you had you want noise canceling earbuds or earphones. You got to get big bulky things. They cost a lot of money. These things were on sale for like $169 over Black
they
Friday.
Were so cheap.
It's maybe the best Apple product. I don't know. So there.
I was tempted to almost buy them, Lewis. I was tempted.
You didn't? Oh, yeah. That's the other thing.
No.
Like some people don't like the silicone ear tips, right?
I don't. That's me.
That's the one caveat that I and that's not a negative on the product because I think that they ship with multiple sizes and they feel good to me. But some people don't like them. So
yeah. Well, yeah. I can talk about AirPods 4, which I might. And by the way, next episode, I think we're doing nothing but picks and anti-picks for the whole year. There's going to be nothing to talk about next week. So we're going to be doing that, which is good because I feel like we keep running out of time. Like there's a bunch of stuff I actually want to talk about, and we keep running out of time to talk about it. So hopefully next episode I'll be able to get it all out. Somehow I doubt it. Griffin, take it away.
We should also announce that next week we're going to be recording on Friday, not Thursday, on account of Christmas.
Yes, that's true. Thank you for calling that out. So if you're wondering where we are, well, we'll be there.
Lewis looks like he forgot, so I'm glad
I couldn't remember what day it was. Christmas is on a Wednesday, right? So we're doing it on a Friday instead of a Thursday. Okay.
Yeah. Griffin,
Hope
take us away.
I'm not out of eggnog by that point.
Okay. I have this is not a technology pick, but it is the biggest change to my hair routine ever since I first got my blow dryer a few years ago. This is a product that everybody can use, not just a product.
Is it a fork that goes into a socket?
That's pretty good. I'll take that remark. This is a product that almost everybody, I guess Lewis probably wouldn't find any utility in it, but he has like 12 hairs left. So he probably doesn't struggle washing
That's
his
not
hair.
true. They
But
just migrated south.
that's fair. That's fair. This is a product, I don't know what it's called, but the word on the side of it says HEETA, HEETA. So I guess search for that. Or
Okay.
maybe check in the show notes to see if I found it. This is a weird sort of like squid
Oh
thing.
my goodness.
It
The
fits
show
in
is
the
getting
palm
real.
of your hand.
Uh-huh.
It slides, your fingers slide through like a handle on top. And then on the bottom, it's kind of like a 3D rubber toothy comb. And you might be wondering, what on earth is this for?
It's like
Well,
it's like
here's
a
what-
scalp stimulator.
Yeah, it helps you scrub your head.
Huh.
So I realized, like, I don't always shampoo my hair. On 6 out of 7 days of the week, I only do a rinse, but you do have to do a pretty thorough rinse. Like you have to get in there, rub your scalp. And it turns out that fingers aren't actually very good at that. Like even compared to like a thick-toothed comb or like a brush thing, fingers are thick and spindly and weird little sausage things, even if you have pretty thin hands. This thing is designed to like get in there and scrub the incredible amount of dandruff
This
and
is
oil.
this is unreal. I
out of
can't
your
I
hair.
can't believe where this show is going today. Yeah.
I did not
It's
expect
a
that.
genuinely, It's a genuinely
I wasn't
life-changing
expecting
product.
a beauty product from Griffin.
And it's peculiarly flesh colored.
Yeah.
It almost looks like some kind of AI generated thing. Look at that. It's
Yeah.
got little
It looks like
finger
you 3D
ridges on the top.
It looks like you 3D
It's not
printed
too
that
far
yourself.
off from the my own shade of skin on my flesh face.
Yeah.
But it's genuinely great. Like you pick this thing up, you just like rub in there, and you feel like it's taking like a layer off of the surface of your head.
No
It's
way.
great. It gets all the stuff out of there, especially if you have thick, oily Italian hair like I do.
I mean,
So
I feel like I could delve deeper into this topic. I probably shouldn't ask any questions about what I'm saying here. I mean, you said you only wash your hair once a week. Don't you put
with
like
shampoo.
product? Well, what do you wash it with other things? Egg whites? I mean,
No, I just use water. the
rinse.
other 6
okay,
days
so
of the
so that's
week.
not so. Okay, that's my point. Is if you're not using shampoo, you're not washing it. You're just rinsing it off. So
Yeah, but you're still getting a lot of with the help of this device. You're still getting it's still clean. It still feels soft like on the 7th day, but on the day before I shampoo it.
do you put any product in your hair?
No.
Okay, that's how you get away with that. Because I'm like, I don't know if I could stand having product in my hair for 7 days straight. I feel like at some point I have to wash it out. This might
Hate
need
the
to be
word
a
product.
I guess I
mean-
should also clarify. I didn't buy this myself. This was given to me, which is why it's bright pink. I probably would have gone with like
Can-
purple.
Oh, sure.
at least.
I'm trying to
Okay.
imagine. Did you? Was this a gift?
It was. It was.
Did this arrive wrapped up?
No, it was just sort of given to me secondhand. I was like, hey,
Okay.
you should try this out.
Oh, it's second hand.
Oh my god. Well, at least you saw it coming. I'm trying to imagine unwrapping something like that. I mean, I think I would stand there and go, did it have like an instruction sheet or anything? I
Well,
mean,
Lewis, you probably just like wash your head with like sandpaper, you know?
It just, the
I wash
bar
my-
just goes
every-
straight up there, and
I
he
wash
just
my
goes,
single hair every single day. Thank you. You know what's
Man.
funny? You pulled that out. My dad had a thing very much like that, like in the 70s.
Really?
It was, but it was hard plastic kind of, but it was the same thing, like a scalp
That
stimulator.
looks like silicone or something, isn't it?
Yeah, the bottom half is silicone. The upper half is like hard plastic, but that's just, where your hand goes.
I have to
Hold
say, I'm intrigued. I mean, It
Oh,
looks
God,
like
he's
it
gonna get
feels
one.
really
Utility,
good. Like when you rub that on
It
your
does.
scalp, it's like a scalp massage.
I can almost feel it, to be honest.
I
Just
can
looking
too,
at the,
just
just
thinking
looking at the
about
thing. It's almost like that ASMR tingling on the top of my head.
How much is
I'm
that thing, Griffin?
I don't know how much it costs. I haven't.
That's
looked
like
it
a
up in
scalp.
advance
What
of
would you
the
call it?
show.
Like a scalp washer?
Scalp rubber?
Scalp rubber.
It says Heeta. HEETA.
But that's
I don't know if
probably the
that's product
brand.
name
I mean,
or-
that looks like some off
knows?
Amazon brand, you know?
Maybe.
It's like shoe
Eat a,
glue.
Yeah.
eat a scalp massager.
Okay.
There it is,
Okay.
right there.
It's
They
on
got
Amazon.
a bunch of. Oh my God, they got a bunch of varieties.
Is it $9.99?
There are a bunch of them are $7.99. I don't see a nice one. None of them look quite as nice as the one you got, man.
Yeah, it's
They've all
about
got
the size of the palm of
different
your hand.
designs.
It's nice. Gets in there.
Oh, there we
Okay.
go. There it is. The scalp massager with soft silicone bristles for hair growth, dandruff removal, and scalp relaxation. Hey,
My scalp is
Hair
feeling so
growth?
stressed.
hair growth. It's oh my God, they sell 2-packs, so you can have one in each hand. Can you imagine?
In 6 months,
Wow,
Lewis is going to
baby,
have
baby.
like one of those
Looks like-
froze from the Shaft movie.
It looks
It's
like
going to be
freaking
absolutely out of control. He's going
Bigfoot.
to look like Billy Joel from like 1978. Okay, look. That was definitely out of left field.
I did not expect that.
Dipsy Doosa from the chat says he's got one. $7.99 from Ross. There you go. That's the play right there. I bet you Ross is filled with these things, or Marshalls, or TJ Maxx. Dude,
yeah,
those-
everywhere you look, you're going to see one now.
Okay, look. Do we have time for this? I have one more pick that I was going to shoehorn in. I'll do it real quick. I have here the AirPods 4 ANC version. And my pick is not the AirPods. It's the case. This case is one of the best products that Apple has ever made. It's, I think, by all measures, just perfect. There's nothing about it I don't love. This year, USB-C, they added Find My, they added a speaker, which I use all the time when I can't find my AirPods. The speaker's loud, so you can actually hear it. And then you can attach this case to a MagSafe charger or, genius, Apple Watch charger. Clicks right onto the back. And now you can charge your AirPods with your Apple Watch charger. Absolutely genius. And it has like lots of little nice like verbal, or not verbal, but audio cues, like what's going on. Like I'll attach the charger one more time. Charging. I feel like I'm missing something. Oh yeah. It has like the little iridescent light. You probably can't see. Oh, hang on, let me do it again. That's like etched into the actual AirPods, which is completely reminiscent of MacBook Pros, or I guess the PowerBooks that had like the aluminum shaved down to be so thin that you could see the LED like lighting up behind it, but you couldn't actually touch the LED. It was behind the metal. Like a really cool homage to Apple products of yore, and it adds like a really cool, like effervescent, like glowing quality to it. And then again, that speaker, man, like the fact that you could ping it and it will make a really loud sound, so you could actually find your AirPods, is just so immensely useful. I mean, this case is the reason to upgrade. Now, I like the AirPods. I'm not going to imply that I don't, but they've got some issues. And I've talked about those issues before, and I should probably talk about them again in the next episode, because I've been using these now for, 2 months. And some of the issues have turned out to be non-issues. And there are new issues that I didn't mention were issues, but are definitely an issue. And we should talk about that in the next issue of CultCast. But for now, that's it. That's all the CultCast we have for you guys this week. Let's see here. Are we recording our next episode? It's going to be after Christmas. Oh my goodness. I can't believe it. So this is like going to be our pre-Christmas episode. So Merry Christmas to everyone. Happy holidays. Hope you all have some great time away from your job and work, and hopefully some good time with your family. I want to thank you all for hanging out with us yet again. And we'll be back for one more episode, the last episode of the year next week. But until then, this has been the CultCast, the best 30-plus minute Apple conversation you can hear all week long. New episodes of the CultCast come out every Thursday night. I want to thank everyone for listening and for hanging out live and for supporting the show. and for your 5-star review on iTunes. If you haven't left us one recently, please go do that. You can come hang out with me and Griffin in the very exclusive Cult Club. Just go to support.thecultcast.com, support.thecultcast.com. And until next week, we'll see you guys. Now this makes no sense. Next time. But you know what? You gotta just go into it. When you make a mistake, you gotta own it, you gotta lean into it, and then you gotta monetize it.
Yeah,
That's
just like Apple Intelligence.
That's
Greatest
right.
thing since 5G.
If you liked our 5G, you're gonna love our Apple Intelligence. Now powered by 5G. That's gonna be their next upgrade. Oh man, that Apple Intelligence might end up as one of my picks next week. It just might. And I bet you can guess which pick it will be. All right, everyone. Hope you all have a great weekend. I'm hurtling towards the end stream button as we speak. There's nothing that can be done to stop me. Catch you next time. Bye, y'all.